Alright, so my video today is about China's exports and why the Strait of Hormuz is blockade right now. All the way back, we're going to look at how many companies truly moved out of China. The global export fell so much on not just electronics, but everything, because America, before COVID-19, had so much trade, and we imported so much stuff from China. When COVID-19 kicked off, it collapsed so many logistical supply chains to those factories when we all went on lockdown for 2 years that it never went back, right? Because those companies were forced to not be able to trade or work at the factories to produce anything. The global trade never really got back to business. Now, a lot of short selling, they started short selling the stock a lot to try to make ends meet, to try to ramp up their production again and meet standard level, but they tried to invest with others that couldn't actually keep up with the cheap supply. They tried to buy ore and materials from cheaper places than what America was supplying them to undercut our market, steal the technology, reproduce the product, sell it to our market against the original creator of the product, basically, on all fronts. So then we had a global pandemic, and then we have the Strait of Hormuz. So it's only been going downhill for them for some time. Now they tried to bluff their way out of this trade. This is like a world trade balancing sheet, basically. Now, a world trade balancing sheet looks like when you can stop an entire trade from all the other countries until you get paid back what you're desired from all of your inconveniences from these other markets, because your market was getting stifled and traded against when you're already helping another one by giving them those factories and allowing them to have technology from your country. So it's not like America's not unjustified for this. So it started in 2018 when they really started falling, and we've seen Apple and all of them pull out of China. That was one of the biggest chunks, right? Right after that, you've seen their real estate empire crumble, right? Now they're trying to say they have a military industrial complex. I don't know who supplies it. I don't know who ships it to them, but they say they have one. Now that is a wild thing to say when they are completely on the backside of all the deals now from their previous expansionism, when they were doing well and had that trade power, and then they wanted to try to save even more or make even more money off the product from the rapid expansion of the factory, right? It made them really greedy and thought that they could just, invest in other countries, take from it, produce, sell for higher price. They just thought they could just keep rolling those dice and shooting those craps out there. Well, it had a lot of effects. Russia is the same way. They want to be seen as a good producer and competitor. So all of this stirred up just by trying to undercut technology and not producing for the factory owner and selling it as the original trade deal. So that is a lot to blame on it. Now they'll try to say whatever they want to, but either way this way pans out, whether they're gonna come to a trade deal, they're not gonna go to war. They won't. I promise you. China cannot go to war. They can go to war, they will not win it. It's just not feasible. Because China, once they move out of that seaport and they come to try to invade America and they move off that coast and ever came out to try, Russia's coming straight down. Someone's collapsing on them immediately and taking those factories from them. So China's stuck. big time. And America's is like, you know, if I was in leadership, I'd be, after World War II, and we gave you that much help in factory and give you that much technology, for you turn around and say you're our competitors after you've copied our technology and didn't do it yourself, most other countries won't trust you because they know for a fact that you will re-engineer it and redesign it, claim it as your own, try to sell it against their markets. No one will ever trust that again. No one. So I guarantee you trade deals will be different. I mean, people can keep on thinking that China is that global trade power. They're not. They don't have the logistical supply chain coming in or going out. They're shut down because of the greed. No one can pay to receive lesser, right? You can't pay higher and receive less. And it's a bigger transport and a headache. Like, China would have to have sales on almost everything to help ramp up America's economy again for America then to want to reinvest in China. That's just the facts. They want to seek outside investments, and that's when it will always become, then you're going against NATO and America, or we don't have NATO, or that would be an entire different conversation, right? But at the end of the day, China is not that super world global power because they've never won a war on their own, never been in a war for a long time. They cannot declare themselves as a world global power just off of weapons. That's, and they don't even have the trade or logistical support to back up being that big a world power for that much trade supply logistically anymore either, because they don't have it coming in or going out. So it's just interesting to see how they're trying to balk their way back into that position that they ruined for themselves. But, politics.